Now, the Ghana Tourism Federation has welcomed the 55 million cedi support from government to revive the tourism sector post-COVID-19. The World Bank is giving this money as grant through the government to assist tourism players recover from the impact of the pandemic. But the Federation has expressed some concerns with the disbursement. Joining me now is Emmanuel Frimpong, who is Executive Secretary of GHATOF. Great to have you on the program tonight. So we've been talking about this World Bank grants for a while now. It looks like we're making headway. At least there's some good news. The money is coming. Reaction from the businesses under you?
Well, yes, quite a good news for us. We had a meeting with the tourism minister, Minister Awal Mohammed, yesterday, and he mentioned a 55 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to the sector for development. Even though we are not quite clear, because he also mentioned that they are going to develop 2 iconic sites in each of the 16 regions. So we don't know if that money is going to be part of the money that will be used to develop those 2 iconic sites. If that is the case, then our cry has not been heard. So we look forward to actually delving deep into it to know exactly where this 55 million is going into.
So as we speak, we don't exactly know how the monies are going to be disbursed and where it's going to exactly.
Exactly, yes. He also mentioned that probably by the close of the week or next week, we will see the modalities and actually get to understand exactly how this disbursement will be done and where the money will actually be going into.
And so I'm told that you also want government to soften the requirement to enable several of your members access the funding. Do you know the funding requirements?
Darrell, if you look at most of our members, majority are in the informal sector. And we all know in Ghana, the informal sector is not properly regulated or is properly not registered. So what we saw with NBSSI disbursement was the fact that most of them could not meet the requirements. And if we are going to use almost the same requirements to ask these businesses to access the funds, then it is going to be difficult. What we think has to be done is, let's sit down and look at those who are doing genuine businesses. One, let's help them to regularize their businesses. And then also get them to go through the formality and register the business and see how we can support them rather than looking at those who can provide bank statements, those who have registered their businesses, and those who have actually regularized their business and can get certain documentation to present before they are given the support. Because we are not in normal times. So if we are going to use the normal way of assessing people to get these funds, I'm afraid most businesses will not benefit.
Again, we've been making quite some noise about this World Bank grant. I just want you to explain to our audience how helpful this money would be for businesses that constitute the Federation. Should they have access to it?
It's going to be extremely helpful because if you look at the tourism sector, it's quite huge and literally interlinked with every facet of the economy. So if we are able to access this fund, which is 40 million, but not everything that has been given to us at this point in time, if we are able to even access the 55 million Ghana cedis that the minister mentioned, it is going to help hotels. Hotels have employed a lot of people. We have tour guides, tour operators, chefs, we have car rentals, we have different restaurants operators who are operating in different levels. And all of them employ people. At least a minimum of 5 people are employed by these people. So if you look at the number of associations that we have, And then you look at, if you multiply it by 10, at least 10 employees, then you can look at the number of people that are employed in the tourism and hospitality sector, and then the ripple effect that it will have on other businesses. So this 55 million Ghana cedis is going to be extremely important and vital to the survival of our sector if we are able to access this fund.
And I'm reading the tourism minister on his tour of the Greater Accra region yesterday mentioned some grim figures to do with how much the tourism sector has lost from the COVID-19 pandemic. He talked about 8 billion Ghana cedis and resultant job losses estimated at 75%. That is incredible.
It is. Unfortunately, we haven't done an in-depth research to actually know the gravity of the situation. Probably our minister is being charitable. If you look down and you go down and look at what is actually happening on grounds, you realize that it's far worse than what we are seeing. But we just have to be hopeful with this funds coming in. We hope that it will help us to actually get our feet on the ground and start doing something.
And a final one, based on your interaction, what's your understanding of what the minister hopes to accomplish in the Greater Accra region, for which reason he undertook the tour in the first place?
I think this is the 10th region the minister has toured since he became our tourism minister just some few months ago. And that's quite incredible. Yesterday, when we met him, he said he'd done 9. And then right after the meeting, he did a Greater Accra one, and he's yet to do the other 16. It's important because you cannot sit in your office and assume you know everything and just put policies together and ask people to run with it. It is better for him to be out there, know exactly what is on the ground. I remember when he went to the central region and most of the regions, he came back complaining, looking at the deplorable state of the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, the building itself, and even customer service, training, which yesterday he kept mentioning training and capacity building. Customer service is not the best, so he intends to set up training facilities and also equip the training institutions that we already have and get most of the tourism and hospitality operators to get some training, especially in customer service. So it is good that the minister is touring around to have first-hand knowledge of what is actually happening, so that if he's in the office and making any policies, he's in the office and making any suggestion, then he knows exactly why he's doing that, and then also knows the impact that he hopes to make.
I know I said my previous question was the final one, but I just remembered that during our last conversation, we spoke about the NBSSI's COVID-19 stimulus package and the fact that you guys hadn't heard anything when it started. Was it last week? Is there any progress being made?
Well, officially, we haven't. We have only seen the post around. And for some reason, if you look at the leaflet that is around, you don't even see tourism or hospitality unless you go on their website, that you see that the sectors that are qualified to actually apply tourism and hospitality is part. When you look at the flyer that is going around, you do not see tourism and hospitality. And so far, we haven't had any formal engagement. We haven't had anything from NBSSI, but we continue to encourage our members to apply. You never know, some might get something. But for some of us, we are not too keen about the way they've gone about their things.
Fingers crossed still. Thanks very much, Emmanuel Frimpong, who is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation. I appreciate your time with us tonight. You're watching Business Live. We are taking a short break. We'll have some more stories afterwards.